Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. Whether you're here live on Monday, April 20th, or you're watching this recording on our YouTube channel, thank you for joining. Thank you for being interested in global commerce, global trade, global chamber. Logistics is certainly changing and is very dynamic in today's world, more than it's been for quite a while since early COVID days. It is also because of that, all the changes that are happening and how dynamic it is. And because of AI and technology evolving and changing and being right here, it logistics is also changing, and the ability to get logistics done globally has already changed and will continue to change. And so we have Ricardo Cassin here from Go Ocean Logistics, who has used AI to be able to create a solution for his clients that's unique and different. And we'll be hearing from others during this call about their offerings, about what's going on in the world of logistics more holistically, and also specifically around solutions to be able to make exporter and importers' lives easier. Ricardo is a member of Global Chamber based between Los Angeles and San Diego. That's a good thing because I spend a lot of time in Los Angeles. And so Ricardo and I got to eat at one of my favorite ramen locations. Used to be Mogu Mogu, now Wadia in Sawtell in Little Osaka, where I happen to have a home. Thank you, Ricardo, for stopping by and allowing me to get to know you a little bit better. Congratulations on the progress that you've made with your business over the last 6 months. It's quite significant, and we're going to hear more today about where things stand. And I think you've got some specific examples that you'd like to share. So, if I understand correctly, you've got, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes of presentation. We'll have Q&A, and then ideally we'll do a roundtable and hear from everyone who's in the room, starting with the members. Ricardo, does that work for you?
Perfect. Works perfect. Thank you very much, Doug. And it was my pleasure to meet you in Los Angeles a couple months ago. And more progress are coming. It's just like a very interesting stage that the company is right now, that I'm trying to integrate every day. And it's so many details that we need to work on. And I think will be the first of so many conversations that we're going to have through the next weeks, into the next videos. And today I would like to just explain quickly what is Go Ocean Logistics, what we are, what we do, and how we try to be transparent with our customers, because in this industry, you start with a price, and when you receive your goods, it's another price. And this creates so much confusion for everybody. Sometimes we start thinking that we're going to spend $1,000, and in the end of the shipment and the final invoice come is $1,600, and you say, like, what is $600 come? What is this? What is this new extra fee? And this happens all the time. So my goal is always to give the first price is the last price, and be transparent with any type of change. So if you allowed me, I would like to share my screen.
Yep, please go ahead.
Thank you. And so Go Ocean Logistics is a freight forwarder and in VOCC. That means that I can work with partners like brokers. Are you seeing my screen? They say capability statement 2026, Doug?
Yep, we can see that.
Perfect. So as a freight forwarder, we can integrate several companies, a freight broker to do our ground trucking. We can hire DHL to do air shipments. We can have partnerships with ocean carriers. And as a NVOCC, that means no vessel ocean common carrier, I can have contracts with the ocean carriers. So this facilitates shipments. I can, as an agent, as a logistic agent, I can pull ground trucking, for example, if you need it, drop vehicles or drop cargoes at the port, the closest port, and ship overseas, and also work in the exporting, importing file, right? And it's my strategy. It's always to give the full visibility to my customers so they understand what is going on. And if you have extra additional fees or tariffs, they know from the beginning and no hiding costs. In because this we work with partners that allows me to understand their costs, my costs, and pass to the customers. And I like to provide that to the customers in certain ways. Saying that, I would like to share, let me move here, how that works. How, for example, if somebody comes to me, can be via website or in a phone call or in WhatsApp. And what generally I request is a shipping letter or containers or pallets with couple informations. This shipping letter, for example, is from a customer, and he's trying to ship some coffee from Korea, South Korea, to United States, Oregon. So I have the zip code, Oregon, that is by the zip code is the name of the city, Sisters in Oregon. And we're gonna try to ship some coffee from South Korea, right? And here in this shipping letter, they gave me what I need as origin and destination. Here I understand that it's a LCL, so it's not a full container. And here is the information that I needed. For example, I have these kilograms of one pallet. The second pallet, they want two pallets in total. The total, it's 1,040 kilos, $200,000. It's expensive coffee, by the way. And here I have what I need as code, so I can estimate how many you're gonna pay in tariffs, or if you're gonna pay it. Principally in these days that we have additional. And with that information, I'm able to provide him a shipping quote and also estimate how much he's gonna pay in taxes. So one of my partners, Marks, I can come here with them. I'm gonna just come back. Okay, and now I know that Marks can ship boxes and pallets from Korea, South Korea, and Oregon. So I can come here and put Busan, that is the port that he is requesting. And using the zip code, I discovered that it exists Oregon. So I can pick it up in the facility and drop in the facility in the United States. And I fill a couple information like the Incoterms and the booking party. And I add here the commodity that is coffee, roasted, no frozen, 2 pallets, for example. And I select what he wants, is a box or a pallet. And I already added before our call, I added here the information that I need and when I continue. Now, Doug, you asked me about it, how this is impacting the business, right? So, for example, the shipment, it's $1,006.61, right? 2 weeks ago, was 840. So in this window period of 2 weeks, I noticed an increase of $220, sorry. and this for 2 pallets, and how this can affect business. So it's already there. We are already seeing the increase. Saying that I have already his shipment, and faster I can, another partner that I have, that's my broker, he has an estimated calculator for the taxes. So the HTS code that was provided for this product, it's 0901.21, and we can see ground coffee. I'm select this product, and I'm gonna just put coffee in this case, and let's say that the coffee was 1 pallet. How much was it? I'm gonna add as 1 for the pallet, and I'm gonna put that is $50,000, let's say. And where was manufactured? Korea, South Korea. If, by the way, if we put the different Korea, they're gonna put some alert, so we know that is not the North Korea, it's South Korea, and you added the product. So if we so let's calculate. Let's say that is 1 pallet. So I come next, and I added how type of the bond I'm gonna use. If I already have my own bond, if I want an annual bond, or just a simple entry bond. Let's say that we already have our bond. And another information, where you're shipping from. So we are shipping from Korea, and is by ocean. And the shipment we saw was $1,064. And this is when we can, if I need to see the price, and I submit it. Okay, so now I'm gonna receive the quote. Just a second. And also I want to open here. I didn't receive the email yet. Oh, here. So I received the quote, the estimated price, so we can see here. So saying that we have, for this product, we have, it's duty free, but we have an additional tariff, 10%. In this is something that is always interesting to check, because probably from South Korea, we don't need to pay this 10%. So we need to talk in this case, for example, I talk with the broker and we evaluate if the customer is gonna pay this 10% or not. Another little fees, the harbor maintenance fee and the manufacturer, I forgot what is the MPF, manufacturer product fee, the fees for the brokerage fees, and you can have the total that how much you're gonna pay it. And with the freight, you have $6,862. So saying that we have the total of the clearance and the shipment. So with that, I can provide to my customer transparency and show him you're gonna pay just for these fees. Any another additional fee as customs inspections or storage, this can happen, but from the beginning to the end, this is your quotation and why you are paying this, what that means of. So any questions so far, Doug?
What? So no questions. I know you're wrapping up. So I'm looking forward to understand.
Okay. So how to contact us, how to come to us and say, Ricardo, I want to work with you and your company, Go Ocean Logistics. So the first what I recommend is come to our webpage, oceanlogistics.com, that we are working some details, and maybe this week, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have another feature in the website, and here you can provide the information that you need online. So if you want to ship a vehicle, that's is our expertise that I'm going to talk about the vehicle industry. Or if you want to ship boxes and pallets or containers, and you can add all the information here from your zip code to what city, if you are an exporter or you are an importer, the commodity description, and all details that you needed in your contact, and you send confirm the getting the shipping quote, and we're gonna receive here. We're gonna work with, and you're gonna provide you after a quote for you. The biggest volume of business that we have is for vehicles. At this time this week, it's just getting ready. We are working with my programmer to provide an instant quote. As soon as you come to our website, you add the vehicle information, where the vehicle is in the United States, to where you want to ship, and you're going to have a quote instantly. In the meantime, we are using this format that you want to ship your vehicle, and you add what it is an auto, a motorcycle, RV, boat, trailer, other type of vehicles. Can be a construction vehicle, a tractor, can be just a brake book, a big engine, and you add the informations of the vehicle. And one time you submit your request, we're going to receive and send you the information with. If you need an overseas agent, we ship a lot to Africa, to Nigeria, and Ghana. For example, in Africa, our biggest volume is Nigeria and Ghana. And if you need an agent that can clear customs for you, we also can provide an agent overseas and put you in contact with them. We just don't handle the destination when we are exporting. We don't handle that part. The destination fees is with the agent there. That's I cannot handle that part. So this is what I would like to show you first. And if you have some questions, please let me know.
Okay. Does anybody have any
you.
questions? Thank you. Any thoughts or questions, please? So we're in the Global Chamber Global Logistics Roundtable, and we've kicked off with Ricardo and discussing the website. Ricardo, just a quick couple questions. Why is this significant? Is this different than clients can get in other locations? Does it have something that's different? How have you incorporated AI? Give us a little bit more background in terms of how a client would perceive what you've presented here today.
Perfect. Good question. Doug, the difference it's basically, let's say, I am giving to the customer all information that they needed, because generally they just have the final price and not the breakdown what they are paying.
Okay.
And this is what I experimented. And they know that the transit time can be 40 days. They know that they are paying for the ocean freight. They know that they are paying for the pickup from, let's say, it's in China, in Shanghai, from the facility to the Shanghai port, if it is the case. So in South Korea, they can pick it up, the ground trucking, but they don't have a lot of visibility what can happen next, what situation can happen that can increase the rate. They don't understand if the HTS code is quite right. They are not 100% sure sometimes, and if all the paperwork are in place. So with what I'm trying to do and show the customer is just facilitate, is not to hide anything. I can give you all the information that you need. You are paying, you pay by the dimensions and by the weight. So saying that you pay, let's say, $1 per kilo per meter for one, you pay $1 for cubic meter. You are paying $1 per kilo. You are paying for this amount because sometimes you don't know I'm paying this amount, but for what?
Okay.
And
So
saying that it's what gives the transparency about the AI. Using the AI is facilitating to understand principally the tariffs because sometimes a little number, just a number different can increase the tariffs. You can pay more taxes or less taxes when you're receiving a commodity. And using the AI, this is educational even because you can understand your code is why your products is related to that code. So we can work together on that. We can work together to understand the transit time. Sometimes we say 45 days as transit time, but in the end it's 55 days, 60 days. And AI can help us to understand that as well too.
I understand. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, at the end of the day, someone gets clarity and is able to understand that, and they still want a better price. What happens?
If they still want a better price, depends of the frequency of the business.
Okay.
Because if they are doing one shipment and they need us, they can have a single bond. Just an example, they have a single bond and they want just one shipment. Good, let's do a single bond. But if you think you're gonna ship more than one time, let's get the annual bond. You can save some money on that.
Okay.
For
So
example,
they can still hop on a call and
yeah, the industry doesn't have a season. So the price today will be the same price in the summer, in the spring, in the fall. The industry doesn't stop for doesn't have that season. And if you have frequency, like, okay, I'm gonna ship 4 times this year and I can work in the shipping price. That's easier. But if it's just one shipment, one time, it's pretty standard.
okay. Very good. I see Emmy Brown in the call from Mainfreight. Emmy, thank you for joining. If you'd like to either add to the conversation or have a question, please feel free to go ahead. And of course, anybody else in the call, please feel free. I recognize Paul because we had a conversation last week about Hubstar Logistics that's not yet a member, but we're talking about getting them involved. And I know Paul from for quite a number of years. I don't know, has it been 10 years? Certainly, I know Lyle for maybe 15 years on one of the activities that you do. What's kind of cool, Ricardo, from your perspective, is that Paul has a really neat, clean facility on the west side of Phoenix, which those of you who know Phoenix, it's on I-10, a route to the ports. 40% of imports come in from the Los Angeles ports, as I think we all know. And that I-10 route is really significant. And on the west side of Phoenix is where all the action is. And so having a warehouse over there is pretty nifty. So we're looking forward to Paul having you be involved. Did you have any questions or thoughts either about Ricardo or building on the conversation?
Um, no, not really at this time. Ricardo, I did appreciate your presentation and certainly want to continue a conversation with you offline on how we could help each other.
Perfect. My pleasure. Nice to meet you, Paul.
Yep, you too. Doug, thanks for the shout out.
Well, welcome and welcome to Hubstar. um, uh, while we're waiting for any questions, and then if we're gonna if it won't go any further than that, then we'll end a little bit early. Did you want to provide any additional context for the world of logistics right now? Certainly, costs have gone up significantly since that last quote that you gave, and just kind of ongoing. Are you finding it to be particularly difficult to get shipments done, or is it primarily a cost issue right now?
Yes and no. I have seen customers a little more frustrated. And give you one example, real example. I have this customer that he wants to ship his vehicle to Costa Rica. And the vehicle was in a storage facility close to Baltimore Port. And I gave him a price for pick it up his vehicle, the ground truck, and pick it up his vehicle from the storage to drop at Baltimore Port, and after from Baltimore to ship the vehicle to Costa Rica, right? From $350, the trucker ended up to charging 60, let's say 60, 50, $650 increase. He increased $300 in the cost. I don't know if he overcharged it, but was costly, and I could not do anything. He say, "Is that, or you don't gonna find anyone because everybody's charging around this amount now." So when you provide, in my answer was like, okay, what I can do, I contact my customer, business was done, everything set up, and I call him like, look, I cannot take this increase 100%. This is the total increase that I have. Let's say it was almost $300, and I share with him half and half. I said like I can absorb 50%, and I was being transparent with him, and you take the other 50%. Of course, he was not happy, but he took the deal. So this kind of situations is happening. It's you start with a price, and after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you have an increase. $200 here, $100, $300, everything depends. So that is the reality that I'm facing right now with people.
Okay. Well, what
Yeah.
what is your background? You have a very international background. How long have you been involved with logistics? And tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I have been in logistics the last almost 10 years. I start working for a freight forwarder 2000, yeah, gonna be 10 years, the end of 2016. And they are expert in shipping vehicles out of the country. So they ship like 100, 150 vehicles every month at least. And I was in charge to the operation South America, Caribbean, and Central America. And for my for being Portuguese and a Spanish speaker, and also start dealing after with time to with Europe and Africa. And this builds my expertise in exporting vehicles. Also importing, but 85, 95%, 90% of the business always was exporting. After that, I worked for this big corporation called Advantage Solutions, where I could import to United States the year of 2021, $20 million in product, 2022, little less than this, 18, 19 million, but they are shipping around that to United States, and I was responsible to organize the importing. 80% from China. The other 20 between Vietnam, Philippines, Korea, and sometimes from Europe as well too. Electronics, basically. So that makes me understand the import process and how handle that. As you all can see, my accent, I'm half Brazilian, half Argentinian, as I say. My father Argentinian, my mom Brazilian. I live in both countries, so and I study business in Brazil. I study marketing in Argentina, in United States logistics. So I try to combine this experience. Also, I was in Brazil as in the insurance industry. That is something that always I recommend my customer to take insurance, the products, and I offer also one of my partnership are insurance company that I like a lot. And that is my background, pretty much, Doug.
Sounds good. I just noticed a comment by Tori Christensen. You have a question. Please go ahead. Hi, Tori.
Hi, Doug. Thank you. Yeah, my name's Troy Christensen. I'm a global studies student at Arizona State University, and
Are
I
are
had
you
a.
able to be on screen?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Then we can pull you up.
There we go.
Great,
That
thank you.
better?
Perfect, thank you. Go ahead.
Hi there. So I'm a global studies international relations student from Arizona State University, kind of focusing on international business. And I had a question for Ricardo. Um, I was curious, like, what skills should I focus on, kind of on breaking into the international trade market and logistics and everything?
Um, I think the focus that I oriented myself, it's the first part is the shipment. Like if you are importing or exporting, the Incoterms is very, very important because gonna show you the real price. If you're gonna drop at the customer facility or he gonna pick it up at the port. If they gonna drop at the port or we gonna pick it up in their facility. That is very important because you can I could even show you a real example for that quote that I was showing you from how that changed. If we just send a trucker to the facility or not, this is going to change everything. The second part is to understand your product. If you have all the documentation, of course, the licenses, and this broker can help you even because this I like my partnership with my broker because I don't know everything about that part. I don't know the right license for that product. He tells me, Ricardo, your customer needs this license, he needs this document for me, and they're gonna work. I'm facilitating the business, right? So understand the Incoterms is very important. When you start the shipment and when finish the shipment for us, our responsibility, our customers' responsibility. When we are importing, who gonna do the brokerage? If you're gonna do by yourself, with your own broker, or me as a company, Go Ocean Logistics. Always, I of course do prefer to do on my side, but I respect the customer on that point. And the HTS code, that's a very important because you can we're gonna know the how much duties your customer gonna pay. The insurance is very important as well too, because everything can happen in a shipment. Can be damaged, can be so the boat can sink, and sometimes you try to avoid costs, to avoid some fees, some prices. You try to make everything cheaper, but if some sinister happens, it's good to have. And I have several real examples that happens with me, and people choose to have the insurance and they got it.
Wow.
And yeah,
Have you ever
and
lost a car overboard?
no, that never
Haven't lost.
happened. But I
Okay.
had situations that, for example, the windows of the vehicle, they broke. I'm sorry, my English, they break because the pressure of the ocean pressure. I don't know how to explain, but when they arrive, was not there. They break apart.
Do
And
shipments get destroyed often?
no. Like I'm gonna tell you one example that I had years ago that was my perfect example. Sometimes we try to ship things in pallets, and sometimes no pallets. So they just, in that time, was boxes of candles, full container of candles. They didn't want to put in a pallet because in the pallet they're gonna ship less boxes. So and I recommend them put in a pallet, let's everything organized. It's gonna be easier to load and offload the container. They didn't want it because they're gonna put less, I don't know, 50 boxes less, and this is, or they study was better. One time this container arrived in the United States, they could not even open the container because the boxes was following them for safety. So they hired a company just to do this offload. and it was a disaster. They could not open the container. The box is gonna fill in the workers. They close again. They hired a company just to open the containers. They called the insurance company to take pictures how it was received. It was a full process, and the container was at the storage facility, the warehouse, for a week, and they paid the price. So it was the chip that became more expensive. After that, they start putting pallets, and when it was pallet, they just put the pallet and done. So these little details sometimes is what the customers waiting for us. Sometimes they listen, sometimes not. And back to the car was the same situation. They got the insurance, and by the way, the container, they had insurance, was not a problem. In the end of the day, for the vehicle as well too, they have the insurance. So pretty much I gave him the policy, I help with the insurance, filling the claim, and in the end of the day, the car was in the Dominican Republic, I think so, and they just took to a shop. They changed the window, the glasses, and everything was perfect. And after, the insurance company sent a check as our insurance that we have here in the United States. So this is always my biggest recommendation: get insurance, check the Incoterms, because it's gonna tell a lot about the price, and so the external noise, and understand the code, the HTS code. This is basically what I like to see. Other details as well too, but these are pretty much what I like to see first.
Corey, in your case, what year are you in your study?
I'm sorry?
My junior year.
Junior year. And did you work before, or are you just starting your education there?
I finished my associate's degree, and then now I'm just working on my bachelor's degree in international relations, but with a focus on international business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I think just generally, one of the things, Ricardo, your comments bring up is that those of us involved in global business, one of the things is to have a lot of experiences, learn a lot, get involved with a lot of different things. And then at some point, you start to have credibility, or more credibility, to be able to do, Ricardo, what you've been doing is looking at a particular instance and making a recommendation that often in the beginning of your career is not accepted because you don't have the gravitas yet. But as you gain experience over time, and your own personality and the way you present things and how sure you are of things in global business, it becomes important to create and have that gravitas. Actually, not just in global business, in business,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, to have the education, to have all of the experiences, to have failures, to have successes, and then use that to be able to give advice. And Ricardo, undoubtedly, you've done, and as you cite, you've given examples of when you have made recommendations that people have not listened. There have been probably many other times where people have listened, like the case of the windows breaking out. It sounds like they were able to have insurance and they were protected. So you've got 10 years under your belt now, and so you have the right gravitas.
Thank you, Doug. It's a journey, and I'm still learning a lot. Principally now. Now is a new learning curve that we all need to face, because before I didn't I I didn't even use AI to calculate quotes, to do anything. I was just doing my calculator and using weight of measurements, all the details. But now with AI is a game change.
For sure. Thank you. And while we wait, if anybody else has any comments or questions, please either raise your hand or unmute yourself. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that, and if it doesn't happen, that's fine. Ricardo, would you be able to provide some comments in conclusion? What should we be taking away from this conversation today?
Doug, as we spoke last week, I'm still working in a lot of details for making better my features, and I think for the next weeks we're gonna have more new approaches for Go Ocean. I'm gonna join more in our calls from today, and just concluding, it's my pleasure to be here today, of course, and I just want to tell everybody, if you have some questions, it doesn't need to be, I want to ship, I want to do business, just questions. Just write to me, send me an email, call me, a WhatsApp works perfect as well too. That more than happy. I gonna give my insights and my recommendations, because sometimes takes time to understand everything about the international logistics. And one time you get it, everything looks simple. But until there, like, I should put in a pallet or not? Should I drop at the port or not? Should Ricardo, I give the full shipment for him, or I do my own brokerage? I hire the trucker, or I give to Ricardo? Because sometimes you can do it and you're gonna save money. And I will not make the money, but gonna be easier for me, because sometimes it's hard for me as a company, or for other companies as well, to do a part of the logistics. Maybe in China it's better if the exporter drop at the port instead to me send somebody at the port, and you can save maybe $500 on this. So any questions before close deals, I'm more than happy to provide. So
sounds
contact
good.
me.
Thank you for your expertise. We do have a question from Parth Dave of Nexaflux. Parth, how are you? Good morning. Happy Monday. What would you like to add to the conversation?
Good morning. Thank you, Doug. Happy Monday. Thank you for such insightful conversation, Ricardo. I'm wondering, if an ocean shipment does not have Middle East origin, what kind of impact are you seeing in terms of those shipments? Are carriers still increasing or adding new surcharges in terms of shippers trying to consolidate? What impact are you noticing?
You say if they ship from Middle East, if they no ship from Middle East, I'm sorry.
If they do not ship from Middle East, let's say
Like
they're
ship
shipping somewhere else.
Everybody's being impacted with this situation that we are facing, right? And I like to say, sometimes who is exporting or who is importing, they don't need to know. Of course, they don't need to know everything that is being increased in the minimum details. If we have 5% in fuel increase, if they have in the next weeks, we're going to have another, let's say, inland transportation increase price. These details is very hard to explain them. Look, before we are charging $10 per cubic meter, now you are charging $13 per cubic meter. Sometimes they don't need to know, but they know that was 100 and now it's 130. Right. And that is the tricky part that I see, because everybody is facing this inflation, this increasing. And when you try to explain what it is, they can feel frustrated because it's not the industry. So they want to know if they're gonna pay 10% in taxes or not. Last year, I have one importing from China to here, and I stopped the shipment pretty much because it was when China, United States was putting taxes and taxes and taxes, and my customer is gonna pay 150% dollars now percent in taxes. And I said, I will not ship for you. I'm sorry. I will not do that because in the end, you're going to be mean with me. And she said, I needed my product. So like, wait a month and we ship it because a shipment that for her will be, I don't remember the number, but let's say $10,000 in the end, it's going to be $30,000. And when I put the number on her, like, look, you're paying right now $10,000. And if you ship right now, you're going to pay in the end $30,000. So she's like, oh, okay, I can see this in my numbers. But she cannot understand that is the additional tariffs and you have the full increase in these details for her. Maybe doesn't work a lot. She understands, but she wants to know about her business. So
Right.
it's how I try to understand.
Understood. So would it be fair to say that you're noticing similar kind of actions by shipper where they delay shipment or try to consolidate because of additional transportation costs?
Yes, that's my recommendation. If she said, I don't care, okay, it's your business, I ship for you. But this gonna happen.
Understood.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and also, Doug, I was talking about the tariffs. This is just came today for me from my broker. I need to read, and understand better. But it's coming the time that people gonna request refund for the additional tariffs that they paid last year. And I think U.S. government is providing a platform that you can apply for that.
Yes.
That just came before our call. I need to investigate more about it.
Yeah, several members of Global Chamber are very much in tune with that. So if you like some recommendations of people who are up on it, like Jen down in Miami, she was on this a year ago. She was like, she was recommending people already apply to get the refund, a year ago, and so she's all over it. So happy to. That's Jen Diaz, by the way, Jen Diaz Law. So and she's very busy with that, but she'd be happy to help anybody that has those kinds of issues. Demetris, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. And by the way, Parth, great question. Is there anything else that you would like to share or anything you'd like to share about your business?
Yeah, in terms of my business, I'm the founder and CEO of Mixaplex. We are a supply chain consulting firm, and we help clients in North America and across the globe resolve their supply chain challenges, especially related to logistics, inventory, and S&OP.
Yeah, thank you for being a member, and very essential to have an S&OP process these days more than ever because of all of these changes, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Ricardo.
Yeah, where are you located, Parth?
My pleasure.
Oh, sorry, I actually missed that. I'm located in Toronto, and yeah, nice. Looking forward to seeing you again, Doug, whenever you're in town.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I know the next time I go to Toronto will be a lot warmer than when I was there the last time. So
Yes.
we have, and maybe this is a good way because we need to finish up the call, but Canada, as you know, Parth, very well, and probably all of us know, is really in a phase where they're looking for their companies to be more global. They've been reliant on the U.S. business for so long, and when you look at the numbers, it's staggering about the dependence Canada has on the US market. And so the Canadian government has proactively made funds available and training available for Canadian companies. And so we're right in the middle of that. And so one of our members is the Forum for International Trade Training, FITT. And so we'll be having a series of events throughout the year for Canada. We also have World Trade Months all year, May through December, and one of them will be focused in on Canada. And then the final piece that I'll mention is we also started a series on USMCA. It started last Thursday. It will last in May and June and maybe beyond, depending on what happens. It's USMCA is due for renewal on July 1st. It will likely not be renewed on July 1st, but it likely will be renewed. It will not turn into bilateral agreements, according to the experts that we assembled on Thursday. But those experts will be back on May 21st and will be giving an update on what's going on with USMCA. Those of us in North America know how important that is, that it be done properly, that provides companies in all three main countries the ability to have protection from tariffs, particularly in those industries that are the back and forths, like automotive. 9 times across the border for an average part, which I've heard. I'm not sure I believe that, but I do believe that certainly multiple times across the border, tariffs can build up significantly. And as someone who came back from Japan in 1994, back to Detroit when NAFTA was the first year of NAFTA was 1994, to watch the U.S. automotive industry and how transformational NAFTA was initially, and then in 2020 when USMCA replaced it, and how transformational that agreement has been for creating a mega region. It's very important that we don't screw it up. And the tariffs were screwed up because people are getting the rebates and everybody's discouraged and doesn't really like each other like we used to do it. So it's what really came out of all of that except bad things. I hope and expect, and according to the experts that we had on Thursday and that we'll get again on May 21st, that we'll hopefully do mostly good things with USMCA, fingers crossed. Thanks everybody for joining. Second that.
It's really necessary to have a good agreement between the three countries because majority of our trade between each other relies on USMCA.
Yes.
And if it goes wrong, then all three economies would be in great turmoil.
Yeah, I think based on what I heard on Thursday, and I'm part of the District Export Council for the state of Arizona, and I'd already gotten some feedback from a variety of people. It's not, with the U.S. president, nothing is 100% certain, but the experts are feeling pretty good that we'll come up with the right decision, although it's always noisier than we want it to be, unfortunately. So
Absolutely.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, everyone. Our next event is, and I was hoping that for tomorrow, it's about Africa, Global Chamber Africa. We have events tomorrow and Thursday on Africa, very focused. And then I think we have about another 10 events this week. So please jump in as you can. One of the speakers I was hoping would be here today, and he recognized that he might not be able to come today. Shalom Bako is an importer and exporter between the U.S. and Africa and the rest of the world. So hopefully he'll be there tomorrow, but he's definitely, Shalom Bako, someone that you should know and enjoy the knowledge that he's created over the decades plus that he's been a successful importer and exporter. But that meeting tomorrow morning Pacific time, I encourage you to come. We'll have a roundtable of people doing business out of Africa.
For sure.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Ricardo.